These are individuals who have made hundreds of millions of dollars, who are dominant in their industry, but they couldn't make that shift. And most of them ended up like completely broke. Today is all about making that massive shift in your life. And we're gonna use the example of athletes who had it all, that had all the money, and then went completely broke. I'm gonna share a few tips with you that could transform your life just like they did mine. And if you don't know me, I'm a world champion professional rodeo athlete. I've been a serial entrepreneur for the last 20 years of my life. I just wanna take what I know and add value to your life. And that's my main reason for this video today. Number one, Iron Mike Tyson. This guy earned $423 million in his career, only to wind up broke. $423 million spent on girls, spent on tigers, both regular tigers, white tigers. The next guy I'm gonna talk about is Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp was an incredible football player, earned $75 million in his career, winds up completely broke. The famous Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman earned $27 million partying to drugs, to alcohol, and the famous kick to the groin that many of us probably watched if we were growing up during that time period. Allen Iverson, $155 million in his career. He was famous for showing up to a new town without any clothes, and every time he showed up somewhere, he just went shopping. The Allen's probably the one guy in this group that knew himself better than anybody else. Allen decided to sign a contract deal with Reebok that paid him $800,000 for life, and also got a $30 million trust fund. But again, Allen ended up broke. Boris Becker, incredible tennis player, earned $135 million in his career, only to wind up bankrupt and broke in 2017. Jose Canseco made $55 million in his career, and in 2012, he hit rock bottom, living in his friend's garage with only $20 to his name. They were balling, they were making the money, they had the fame, they had the glamour, they had everything while they were the athlete. But when they couldn't perform anymore and they weren't the athlete, they couldn't make that life shift from athlete to entrepreneur, from athlete to business person. Now we're gonna move on to the people who did it right. The great thing about Michael Jordan is not that he was a great basketball player. Now that sounds crazy. The fact that he could reinvent himself time and time again, to me, is why I put him on this list. Not because he has a net worth of $2.5 billion, even though he only made about $93 million playing basketball, but how do you not only just 10x that, but he 25x'd his income in the sport into what he's worth as a businessman. Michael Jordan was always worried about his brand. How do people perceive me? What kind of companies do I want to align myself with? Michael Jordan worked with Wilson Basketball. He worked with McDonald's. He worked with Gatorade. He worked with Hanes. Probably, I remembered him in the Hanes commercials as a little guy. But the number one thing about Jordan, he was worried about his brand. Tyson, this doesn't apply to me. I'm just a school teacher. I'm just getting out of college. I don't know what I want to do with my life. But the truth is, you can take the principles that the greats have done and you can model it in your life. If you're not in a position to align yourself with good brands, what else can you do, right? I can align myself with good people. The second person that I want to outline in this is Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was a great basketball player. He's probably a better businessman. Magic Johnson earned about 24 million playing for the Lakers in his highest paid time in the league, but now he's worth $620 million. And how did he do that? He was a protege to a business person as he was coming up in basketball. And Magic once said that I would sneak into his office, I would sit in his big chair, and I would put my feet up on the table, and I would just envision myself being this big time businessman just like my mentor while I was playing basketball. And guess what? Magic got done playing ball, that's exactly what he did. So remember that in pursuit of your dream, you have to focus your mind on who you want to become. You gotta live in it just a little bit. You dream of driving, a Tesla or whatever. Well, go on Turo and find a Tesla and rent it. Spend, $150, rent yourself a Tesla, and then that can be your guiding light. This is the thing I want to be. This is the thing I want. This is what I want to do. And you've lived in it a little bit so you can taste it, touch it, and feel it, okay? And from that point, you begin to live in it. And now, as promised, I'm gonna give you the 3 main things that you can do right now to shift and change your life to go to that next level. I don't care if it's your freedom or your finances. Number 1 thing, is alignment. How are we aligned in our life? If we're wanting to make this massive life change, and we say, all right, we wake up, we're excited for the day, we have the energy, we have the passion, we have the motivation and the drive and the discipline to actually do it, but we're not seeing results. Is your life aligned? Let's say you got a bunch of negative friends that you know you gotta cut off. You know you gotta get rid of them, but they're constantly pulling you down. I'm gonna make $1 million this year, but they've only made 30,000 the most of their entire life. And they're saying, oh no, you can't make $1 million. You know who your parents are? You know where you come from? If somebody else did it, I can do it too. I just have to align my life in a way that allows me to go take action. When I decided that I wanted to be a world champion athlete, I moved 1,700 miles away to get out of an environment that allowed me to get completely focused on my passion. And guess what? I became a world champion athlete. The second thing that I want to tell you is that you must feed the dream. Ed Milet once said that he would walk along the beaches. He would look up at the houses on the hills up there in California, and he would say, someday I'm gonna own one of those houses. He'd look up and say, someday I'm gonna own one of those houses. And guess what? He ended up doing it. If your dreams don't scare you, if that massive shift doesn't scare you, then it's not big enough. The last thing I'm gonna tell you about making that massive shift in your life is that you must do it because you love it, and that's number 3. If you don't know my career, for over 14 years, I wore a bright pink shirt every time I competed in professional rodeo. And you say, Tyson, that's kind of weird. Why would a cowboy, toughen up cowboy, wear a bright pink shirt all the time he competed? Well, I said, you know what? My stepmother had 2 grapefruit-sized tumors on her ovaries, and at the time we didn't know if they were benign or not, and we were super scared. And I went to her because she was down, because she was sad, and I said, hey, I'm gonna wear this bright pink shirt. I'm gonna do it every time I do it, and I'm gonna do it for you. You see, my reason was so compelling. I was so passionate about lifting her spirits that I didn't care what people said about me wearing a pink shirt all the time. I didn't care about what anybody thought. I was just gonna do it because I wanted to help her out. And my reason was so compelling. I loved her so much that I was willing to do whatever it took. And so I'd ask you, like, what is that thing that you love so much that's gonna keep you going even when times get tough? Even when it's difficult? Even when you don't think you have another ounce of gas in the tank, you're just gonna keep going on fumes, baby. What is that thing, right? A lot of people will say that's your why, right? What is your why? My why is the things that I love. Now in my life, I'm a world champion athlete, multiple successful businesses, have an amazing wife, beautiful children, that I thank God for every single day, to be honest with you. But I'm doing it because I have a sense of urgency, I have a sense of passion, and I'm doing it because I love it. I hope you find that thing that you love so much you're willing to fight for it to the end. So guys, if you got value from this video, do me a favor. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and get this message to more people to hopefully help. If you want to find out more about me, just check the description below, click a link, and hopefully I can provide value for you sometime in the future. As always, guys, much love and adios.